Are you looking for another simple, flexible, and fun listening activity that's great for primary school students and you can use on many different topics and vocabulary sets? Well, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you one of my favorite games to play with young learners, which is bingo. And I'm going to be sharing with you a super adaptable version that you can use almost any time and very quickly with very little prep. I'm also going to be sharing with you a lot of tips so that you can get the most out of this activity with your classes, large or small. So if you're interested in this activity and how you can use it to help your students learn English, stay watching. Welcome to Star Teacher Training. This is the channel for EFL teachers who have large classes of preschool and primary school students. My name is Will, and before we begin, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can get new videos as they come out. As a teacher, a manager, and a trainer, I'm always looking for simple and adaptable activities that I can quickly reuse over and over with my students. And that's for three key reasons. First, they save my prep time so that I can focus on other more difficult parts of my lesson planning. Secondly, they help my students to learn English and have fun because they don't have to use all that extra brain power to understand how to play a familiar activity. They already know how to do it, so they can just focus on having fun and using English. And then lastly, these kinds of activities have saved my skin as a teacher because I've been called many times for last-minute cover, and I can just grab these activities and walk into a classroom and feel confident that I'm going to have fun with my students, they're going to be using English in a productive way, and I will be able to survive that lesson. So that's why this version of bingo is one of my absolute favorite activities to do with primary school students in many grades and many levels. In this version of bingo, all you need are some 3x3 cards like this, and you need a list of at least 9 vocabulary items for your students to choose from. In this video, we're going to be using this list of consonant blend words from a phonics lesson. To play, you're going to give these pieces of paper to students as individuals, pairs, or small groups. Then those students are going to choose words from the board and write them wherever they want. One word for each box. So they'll have a maximum of 9 words. If you have more words on the board, they're going to have some left over. Next, it's a good idea to check with and remind your students what actually counts as a bingo. So in game 1, it might go tick, 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 or tick, 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 or tick, tick, tick. And in the easiest version of this activity, all you have to do is just call out the words as the teacher from the list, and your students listen and then they tick those words as they hear them. Whoever gets the first 3 in a line gets to call out bingo, and they're the winner. You can give them a quick thumbs up or a high five, and then from that point you can continue reading out the words so more and more students can win in that round, or you can stop there and move on to game 2, 3, or even 4. In these games, instead of using a tick, you could use a circle, a cross, and then finally your tornado. And that way you get to recycle that paper many times, students get many opportunities to win, and they rehear those vocabulary items multiple times. You don't have to just read out the vocabulary, that's the easiest way, but instead you could also do things like use the vocabulary in short or long sentences. You could even tell a story with the vocabulary sprinkled in so that the students get to hear the vocabulary in context. Another good idea is instead of using the vocabulary, you could spell the words so that students could practice their spelling dictation skills. And then finally, with more advanced students, you could also define or describe the words instead of saying them, so that way they have to really understand what the word is to play the game. Now, here are a few extra tips so that you can get the most out of your bingo game. My first tip is, remember, the more words you have, the longer your game is going to take. If you've only got 9 words to play with, those games are going to go really fast. You might only call out 3 words before some kid is saying bingo. So it's a good idea to add some additional vocabulary. I find though that you don't want to go more than 15 words because it can get frustrating for students that it takes so long for anyone to get to bingo. A really good sweet spot is about 12 words to play with. My next tip for you is some of your units might not actually have enough vocabulary for you to play with. The students might only be learning 6 or 7 new words. In that case, it's a really good idea to go to previous units in your book and just pull out words for review. That way, your students are getting new vocabulary and review. My third tip is, it's a good idea to play this game in pairs or small groups. That way you get a collaborative element where you're going to hear a lot of students repeating the vocabulary as they help their partner search for the word in the grid. In this case, you want to make sure that each pair or each small group only has one pen or one pencil to play with. That way they have to work together. And in that case, you also want to make sure that you have some sort of turn-taking routine so that your students know that, when one game is finished, then they need to pass the pen to the next student so that they get to play as well. One student doesn't get to take over the game for the whole time. My fourth tip for you is keep the prizes out of this game. All you need to do is just give thumbs up or high fives if your students win. They're going to play for the fun of it. They don't need stickers, they don't need candy. You don't need to bog yourself down walking around and giving all those prizes. It's just not necessary. Your students will play for the fun of the game. And finally, your students need to be able to write confidently in order to play this game. You don't want to play this with students who are too young. It should only take your students 1 or 2 minutes to write down all of the words that they need. If it's going to take them longer than that, or they're going to struggle and need a lot of help, just wait to play this game later on in the year. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video to be useful and interesting. If you did, don't forget to click like and subscribe. And in the comment section below, what other activities do you like to use in your lessons? Thanks for watching. See you next time.